A very good morning, students. Today we will be going to discuss our Unit 3rd chapter, that is Components of Computer System of Class 9th. Basically, a computer is an electronic device that can perform a variety of tasks. We already know that. So, at the very one time, you can work with multiple tasks like playing music, painting, managing your files and data at the same time. So that computer has some basic components. Now here we will be going to understand the components of our computer system. A computer has three important parts: input unit, CPU and output unit for performing different functions. Firstly is input unit, second is CPU, and third is our output unit. Input is basically where we give the commands to our system. CPU means processing the whole data, it is the brain of the computer. Output, where we can see what we have entered our information, it is it consists of a monitor. Now we will go briefly with the help of a block diagram. Firstly, input unit, where we can give our data and instructions. Central processing unit, where the information is being processed. Third is the output, where we can see the result of our information and data. Now the computer system are hardware and software. It has hardware as well as software. Hardware means which we can touch, like CPU, keyboard, mouse, monitor and printer. And software means it is a collection of programs and procedures that instruct a computer about how to perform different tasks. Like we have a mobile phone, that is a hardware. If I talk about software, a software is where we can create notes of some important sections. For that I will I'll download a notes option for that. In that notes option, basically that is a software which will provide me to keep my important work in one section only. So my mobile phone is the hardware and that note section is my software. Now next is parts of computer. It is input and output. Now with the help of diagrams, we will be able to recognize our input units and output units also. Input units, with which we can provide our input to the computer. Basically it is used to translate the user's command into binary code. Our computer understands binary codes only. It doesn't understand our language. So firstly we will, with the help of an input, we will give command, we will give input to the computer. Now what are our input devices? Keyboard, mouse, scanner and joystick, and there are many more. Now we will move towards output unit. Output unit means the device that is used to display our processed work, basically where I am able to see my result, result of my input, what command I have given. The output of that will be able to I will be able to see that in my output unit. Now output unit is my monitor, printer, webcam, headphones, speakers and many more. What is now, we'll come to CPU. Basically CPU is what it will process my whole work. It is a bridge basically between my input unit and the output unit. It has some microprocessors basically which has some transmitters inbuilt into it. When we'll go to our classes, I'll make you to see that transistor of our microprocessor which is inbuilt in that. Also we will see the internal part of the CPU as well, where you will be able to recognize our units also. Basically that microprocessor has million of transistors which will help us to store our data also. It's it will be measured in megahertz or any hertz. The instructions of data, the speed of CPU, basically the speed of a CPU is measured in megahertz or hertz. but nowadays our CPU speed is measured in gigahertz. Now, components of CPU. There are three components of CPU. First is ALU, CU and MU. ALU means arithmetic logical unit, CU means control unit, and MU means memory unit. ALU means basically it is a arithmetical or logical unit. It has some operators into it like addition, subtraction and multiplication. The data and the operands act as the input for ALU. What data we will give, the operands it has, basically they both mix together and they work as an input for our ALU and generates our output as a result. Now what control unit does? Control unit basically controls the operations what we give to that. It controls the transfer of data to other units of computer also. Like if I give a command to the computer, like I want to play music, so it will sense it, will go to the command, it will process it, and then it is not like it will give me the output of at the monitor also. No, if the headphone is connected, if the speaker part is connected, it will send the output to that portion also. It is done with the help of the control unit. Why? Basically it is called the central nervous system of the computer system. That's why it is called, because it knows very well that where I have to give the output. If I have to give the output of an PDF, it will send the PDF to the speaker. Thus, if I want the music, it won't give the output at the system, it will give it to the headphones or speakers. Now memory unit. Memory basically it is where our data and instructions are stored in the computer. So it has two types, internal memory and external memory. You already know that if we'll go to purchase a phone, we will see how much internal memory is there. For that, for the external memory means where we have to buy memory if my internal memory is full. So to process my phone properly, I need an external memory like SD card. This is the difference between an internal memory and the external memory. Now registers. A register is a very small data holding place in a computer process. In a computer process, it is a register type of thing, like a transistor kind of thing. When we will when you will be able to see the microprocessor, when you will be able to see the circuit of the CPU, then you will be able to recognize what are transistors and what are registers. Basically for now you can only understand that it will help us in holding the small data. It is a storage kind of thing. Now storage unit and memory unit. Internal memory or primary storage, it has it is classified into two types as RAM and ROM, read access memory and read only memory. Basically this is the internal memory. Primary memory is a place where data and programs are stored temporarily as long as it has been executed. It is very fast, it has some limited storage capacity. When we will going to explain, when we will see when we are working, like if I am working on a random work and same if I am working on Word file and my system got shut down because the battery is quite low and I didn't notice that, so my memory, my data won't be hold for long because I worked in read, it goes, my data will be erased. If I save that data, it will remain here, but for sometimes when my data vanished off, that is a random access memory. Like internal memory, whatever information we enter into the computers goes into RAM and remains as long as there when we are working on the application only, and it is stored temporarily during its processing, and it will lost forever when the computer is switched off. For example, Blackboard is like a RAM that is constantly overwritten with the new data. When the board is filled, we will rub the board, then again we'll write the new data. It has some types also: DRAM, SRAM, dynamic, static, synchronous, and DDR, that is double data. rate memory. Now ROM, basically it is stands for read only memory. It is a type of memory from which information can only be read, where we are not able to write. For example, audio video discs, CD things, where we can once the songs are burned on a CD, once the songs are saved on our CD, it is not possible to control, it is not possible to copy and paste to delete some data from the CD, because CDs has read only memory. The primary use of ROM is during the booting process. This is initial program used to start computer when power is turned off. That is, ROM is used in a booting process only. There are some types of ROM, that is programmable read-only memory, erasable read-only memory, electronically erasable read-only memory, and flash memory. Next is cache memory. Basically it is pronounced as cache. It is sometimes it is already told by the dealer that you don't have that in your CPU inbuilt. Sometimes they have that inbuilt in our motherboard on CPU. To basically, why cache memory is there? The cache memory is there, basically it is used to store instructions that are repeatedly required to run programs. For that the system should need a proper overall improvement. It is quite expensive than RAM, but it is worth for that, because when we have inbuilt cache memory, it will help the system to boost the information properly, to run the files very well. Sometimes our system got hold, it is due to the overload. We'll say like that, my system is not working so much, my system is not working that fast, because it has some problem in the loading thing. For that, to load my information very clearly, to hold that data very appropriately, we need cache memory in our CPU. External memory or secondary memory. External memory is also known as auxiliary memory or secondary memory. Whenever we require the data for processing, it gets transferred from the secondary memory to primary memory. Therefore, data has to be stored separately in the secondary device. See, the data has to be stored separately in the secondary storage device to make it permanent and accessible for longer duration of time. Secondary memory, it means like we have a Word file, we'll save that, you can see that file whenever you want to see that. Like you have hard disk for that, you have pen drives for that, you can see your data, you can keep your data as long as you want that. Thank you so much.